Step 1. I asked my coworker to hand me a plate, bowl, and utensil with no context. As you can see here, she gave me this nice plate and bowl set and a whisk. Then I asked her to spin the wheel and give me a number 1 through 4. We got a 1, so that means I'm slicing hard cheese for a charcuterie board. Here we go! As you can see, I got my cheese, my plate, my whisk, and my bowl, and I'm using one of the pieces of the whisk to slice down on the cheese. This is kind of difficult, but it's working for what I need it to work for. And so I'm slicing. It's getting harder to slice as I go, but I'm still managing to do so. I notice here that I'm running out of cheese, so I pull the wrapper off. And in doing that, I noticed that I broke the whisk. But I keep going. Luckily, my coworker is super generous, and she's like, it's okay. But I did, in fact, break the whisk. Here I'm showing that all of the slices of cheese are kind of crooked, and I'm showing you the break in the whisk. But I did, in fact, keep going. It wasn't until I got to the very end of the cheese that I was really having a hard time with the positioning and the tool like not working like I wanted it to work. So I turned it on its side and made it do what it needed to do. But it didn't work as well as I would like it to toward this ending part. Okay, so how does this relate to my life outside the kitchen and into the classroom? When we have an array of tools in front of us, we're able to pick the one that best suits what we're doing and best suits the students. However, when we can't pick the tools in front of us, I think sometimes we think it'll be okay to use what we have. However, it might not be the best for our students. Obviously, a knife would have been more ideal for slicing cheese. However, in the beginning, the whisk worked just fine. It wasn't until we got to the very end, when after the whisk had been broken and the cheese was too thin to be able to cut the way I was cutting it. That's where there began to be an issue. When we're talking about students, the issue could be there the whole time. You just won't see it until you go to assess the students on what they've learned. The other thing is, the cheese slices were so rigid after I got done cutting them that they were all in different shapes and sizes, and if you're using the wrong tool to teach students, we could get so many different kids in so many different places, even more than we usually do when we're using the right tool. And those rigid pieces of cheese could equal out to confused students. My other key takeaway from this is that the tool could break. And what do I mean by this? Is that if you're using a tool the way it's not intended to be used, it could break, and then we won't have it. As far as the classroom goes, maybe this looks like something that is really supposed to engage and motivate kids, but you use it every single day, and the kids know that they're getting it, or they know they're bored with it, things like that. The kids could get sick of it and be less engaged, and it's less effective. Those are my key takeaways, and I thought that this activity was really a good way to show that and really put it into perspective for me. And so I'm hoping to be able to take that into perspective for the rest of my workplace. Thank you.